This is actually really funky to drive like this. It's kind of like where my head is supposed to be. I'm trying to like sit back a little bit so I don't hit it with my head, but it's kind of uncomfortable because I do sit a little bit forward. I guess I shouldn't because that means that my back is craned a little bit forward, but I do sit a little bit forward and it's just kind of in my space. What's up guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're gonna be going from downtown Los Angeles down all the way to Irvine. We haven't been there in a bit on an autopilot video. It's about an hour away, or actually only about 45 minutes away with traffic, 41 miles away. So we're gonna see how autopilot does or full self-driving does in today's video. Let's get into the video. All right, so I just threw it onto autopilot. It's definitely super bright right now. The sun is just facing directly at the Tesla and at the camera, so I do imagine there is definitely gonna be some errors in today's drive. Hopefully you like this new camera angle up here. I wanted to capture more of the steering wheel as one of my viewers recommended, just to see what interactions I do to the car and how Tesla on its own navigates through the highways. I'm gonna just make sure that the cameras are all working. Hopefully it's not too exposed because the sun is super bright. This is a funky sitting position because the camera right up here is directly in my face, just right above, so it's not exactly blocking it, but it's still just kind of weird. But hopefully this angle looked good for you guys. All right, so I just did an auto lane change there. This car onto the left is trying to come in, but it looks like autopilot sped up a little bit, so it didn't want to come in anymore. Looks like we have some cars up coming ahead, some cars braking, autopilot's braking a little bit. Tesla autopilot system wants me to get into the right lane again to get off this highway exit onto the next highway. It's definitely a little bit hectic right now. It is 8:48 a.m., so it's morning Los Angeles rush hour traffic. The traffic still should be pretty light because we're in the illness. Hopefully people are still working from home, even though today I do have to go to a meeting in Irvine, so it should be a quick meeting, maybe a couple hours, then I'll be right back. Getting off to the exit here, we just did another auto lane change. Tesla did that pretty flawlessly. There was really no cars behind us, so it could go into the lane easily. There are some cars coming up from this on-ramp coming up to the right, so let's see how kind of autopilot navigates this, but there's no cars. They were up there, so we're pretty good. We're in this lane, so we're in the perfect lane to get off to the next I-5 interchange. So pretty much there really hasn't been too much traffic yet. Tesla's braking just a little bit here. You can see we went down to 35 miles an hour. There's definitely a little bit of space between us and that car. I wonder if Tesla kind of can't see because of the cameras. It's being a little conservative. Let's check on the follow distance. Yep, follow distance is set to 1, so it is probably just being a little bit conservative because of how the sun is just facing directly into the cameras. Even I can't really see too well just because the sun is just really bright. And it's also reflecting off the highways. I don't know if you guys can see that in the camera. I'm gonna go ahead and put my sunglasses on just so I can see a little bit better. All right, cruise control is set to 65 miles an hour. We're going about 64. I'm gonna increase this to 75. As you can see, hopefully on the camera, it's a little bit hard for even us to kind of see where the lane markers are. See how Tesla navigates this pretty well, or not. Let's get into the left lane there. That car was getting close to us by merging into the lane next to it at the same time we were passing it. So it was a little bit sketchy there because I wasn't sure if he was going to come into our lane as well. So I was a little bit hesitant, but Tesla seemed to think it was fine and it kept going. In terms of what version this is 2020.40.3. version 10.2. This is the latest version at the time of this recording, and we're in the 2019 Tesla Model 3 Performance Stealth with over 16,000 miles. Get into the left lane there using the auto lane change pretty flawlessly. Now the sun isn't directly in our face anymore, so hopefully Tesla can kind of see the lanes. I certainly can see the lanes a lot better now. Thanks for watching another video, guys. If you're new here, my name is Dennis, and I typically make Tesla and personal finance videos, including autopilot videos like this in real-world scenarios. So if you're interested in any of that, please hit that subscribe. Just noticed that my windshield is a little bit dirty, so let's go ahead and clean it with some of this fine Tesla windshield wiper fluid and wiper. One thing that I always hate about this kind of windshield wiper combo is that you can't see it from your angle, but the windshield wiper fluid always seems to love traveling across my driver's side window because it just doesn't completely fly off. So now it's just slowly going across and it's going to leave kind of dry marks there later on. Tesla wants to get into the left lane, or it's recommending it because it's quicker, but there are a couple cars in that lane, so I know Tesla's going to take too much time to try and get into that lane. But it looks like a couple cars, a few more cars are passing us now as well, and there's not much of a gap between them, so we probably can't get into that lane just yet. We are going about 54 miles an hour, and those cars are probably going 65, 70, so that's probably why Tesla wants to get into that lane. Okay, so it looks like I see a gap opening now, but the Camry has taken that spot. I'm just going to let Tesla decide when we can get into that lane. There's a van in that lane now, but Tesla just kind of lurched forward a little bit to see if it could get into that lane to find enough space, but no, not just yet. Okay, so now I kind of just cut off that Celica right there just a little bit, and it just was aggressively going into that lane, which is nice because a year ago, full self-driving would just wait and wait and wait and would never take the kind of the action to be aggressive and go into that lane. But now it will definitely take the opportunity when it can. Tesla's newest update actually has speed assist improvements where it basically tries to read the speed signs that are on the road instead of relying on GPS data. It also has priority Bluetooth device where you can set priority to your own device so that if it recognizes other devices that are on your list, it won't connect to those if it's just walking by or the other device is near. It also has glove box pin so that you can set a pin for your glove box so that people can't just arbitrarily just get in, and hitting that like button for the YouTube algorithm. It actually really helps. And I appreciate every like and every comment that you guys leave on my videos. So I do think that autopilot and full self-driving have significantly gotten better over the recent updates. There's a feature that I do want to try. Basically, when you're in a lane and auto lane change wants to make a lane change for you, I have it set so that you have to give it confirmation to make that lane change. You can actually turn that confirmation off so that it actually just makes the lane change for you, but I've always had the confirmation on. I do want to make a drive one of these days where I actually have it completely off so that it just makes the lane changes for me and I kind of just sit back and monitor what it does. The other setting that I want to test out is typically when you're in the fastest lane or in the left lane, it always wants to get out of this lane if you're not going the correct speed or fast enough. I do want to try the setting where it just keeps you in that lane the whole time and you decide whether you want to get out of the lane instead. Another feature that they also recently updated that I actually really liked and I thought was really smart was the green light chime. Basically, when you're sitting on a light and the light turns green and you're not necessarily paying attention for whatever reason, the car will actually chime at you telling you to go. What I found though, it's a little bit delayed, so hopefully they can make it so it's almost or right immediately after the light turns green so that we know we can immediately go on a green light. All right, so we're going pretty smoothly here. We haven't really run into too much traffic, going 74 miles on a 75-mile cruise control setting. There might be a little bit of traffic coming up, but the two areas that, of course, we love on this drive are there's actually two construction zones where Tesla typically freaks out. You're not supposed to use Tesla Autopilot or full self-driving in construction zones, but it seems to do pretty well in these construction zones, but sometimes it does mess up. So let's see what happens when we get there. All right, so we're coming up on the first construction zone. In this area, what happens is the lane markings on the road aren't necessarily clear for the new lanes, and the old ones still kind of are detected by the autopilot system as well. What happened was the original highway goes straight, but because I guess the adjustment goes to the left, autopilot thinks like it still needs to go straight instead. So hopefully that first area right there, we actually just went to the left perfectly fine. You can see some of the lane markings going to the right there, but okay, so we're hugging pretty close to the left. You can see autopilot is freaking a little bit. It doesn't really know what to do, so it's asking you, the driver, to kind of take care of the steering wheel because it wants to go kind of to the left, I guess, but the lanes are saying go right. So we basically navigated through that area pretty well. It was still staying in the lanes, but you see the car was hugging the left lane a lot. Okay, so autopilot's freaking out a little bit here. The lanes kind of go to the left there, but it's trying to figure out where it should go, but it's navigating it pretty well. I mean, if I wasn't paying attention, I would probably be freaked out, but because I know that area is just a little gnarly for the Tesla Autopilot system, I knew to kind of hover my hands over the steering wheel and take over when needed. So we're going to auto lane change into the left lane, pretty empty, so very easy for the autopilot system. Okay, so this is a really weird glitch. Autopilot wants to lane change into the HOV lane, but the HOV lane has a solid double line, and it kind of recognizes that. So that's really weird that it wanted to do that when it's not. It doesn't really need to do that to get to our end destination. So this has definitely been a pretty easy drive. Barely any traffic at all from Los Angeles to Irvine. I guess there really isn't that many people doing this commute. So it really only took, I think, like 45-50 minutes from start to finish, which is really nice. I don't believe there's really any other traffic. I don't have the premium connectivity, which I do need to make a video on that. But I think I'm gonna go ahead and end it here. Thanks for watching another video, guys, and hit that like if you enjoyed it, and comment below on how you thought Autopilot did on today's drive, or if you have the latest update, you feel that it's gotten smoother in its recent updates. All right, guys, thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.